Let's get straight into it. Let's talk Hoya clemensiorum. Right off the bat, there is a lot to love about this Hoya. Very few things I don't love about this Hoya, but you might be interested in one. So a little background about this Hoya. It is from a place called Sabah, Borneo. And there are two, or at least that I could find, two versions of this beautiful Hoya. There is a short leaf version of the Hoya, and then a long leaf version of the Hoya. This is the short leaf. This is the long leaf. So one of the things right off the bat that obsesses me about plants in general is that this is the same plant, and how different the variations in what you get can be is amazing. So the short leaf one, I would say is probably 5 inches. And then this one, on a mature leaf, for the long leaf one, we'll probably get around 8-9 inches with this leaf. This Hoya is absolutely stunning with the veins that it gives you in each of the leaves. So one of the things I really like about this leaf is that it's a light color with dark veins. Some of the other Hoyas that we grow are actually dark leaf with light veins. Another super interesting thing about this Hoya and its leaves, it almost has serrated edges, as well as the leaf is tough as heck. It's very hard to bend the leaf when they become mature. New leaves remain soft for several months before they harden into their mature form. But once the leaf is mature, it's very difficult to break. But when you do, unlike some other leaves, it's not going to be able to recover. For example, this leaf in shipment to me suffered a little bit of a crease, and it's never going to get rid of that crease. Where some other leaves, and I've noticed it in the Hoya world, you can get away with it because that crease will eventually go away, but not in this bad boy. Another thing, along with the veins and the tough texture of the leaf, is that there is some splashing that goes on in the leaf. So it has a little bit of everything. It has the really big veins, the dark color, the serrated edges, the splashing. There's already a lot to like. So in the long leaf version, it's a pretty sprawling Hoya. The nodes are pretty far apart, but I kind of dig it. In the short leaf form, you still get really pale leaves with dark veins, but with them being much shorter, the plant look bushier even though they're not. They still have a huge distance between their nodes, but it's not as, for some reason, noticeable as with the longer leaf ones. It's weird, something about my eye just doesn't catch on to it. This also has a pale leaf with dark veins, and it's very cool. This Hoya is most often grown for its foliage because it is so beautiful. A lot of people really love the dark veins on a light leaf. I do as well. And then some other people grow it for the flowers as well. The flowers are going to be whitish pink, and I've heard different comments about the way the flowers smell. Some people said it smells lightly of orange, lightly of lemon, but then a few people have said that there is a really musky odor to the scent that's kind of dank and too earthy for them to enjoy. So I really cannot wait to find out for myself what this smells like. On another note, these leaves being kind of light green with dark veins, there is a version out there that I'm dying to get, and it's a red version. I've looked to see what this will turn like when it's sun-stressed, and it will get dark, but I mean, the photos that I've seen of the red one are deep, dark, beautiful red. There is no other red in a Hoya leaf that I've seen quite as striking as this in the red. So that is on my to-get list. As you can tell, I own quite a few of these. I got the short leaf version, the long leaf version, without even knowing the difference first, because the seller was simply giving short cuttings of several in a package, and so luckily they included both. Oh, okay, two different ones. The one thing I don't love about this Hoya is, damn, it's a slow grower. For example, I got a lot of Hoyas this year to replace some of my collection that had a tragic accident, and many of the Hoyas that I planted in May, whether they were cuttings or newly established plants, grew quite rapidly over the next 9 months. But this guy is an example. So this is a cutting that I started back in May 1st, I believe. And this is the only growth that's happened in that entire time. And I've checked, it's fully rooted, and it just is a slow grower. There's also a few things when you're rooting cuttings of this you have to keep in mind. This particular Hoya loved it with high humidity and very warm temperatures. There were some other cuttings of the same species that I was trying to root, but they just didn't go well. And it was in the same room and the same conditions basically, but they didn't make it. And what I discerned from that is that it was a little drier in the area I was trying to root those as opposed to these. Now these were also sold to me as like 1 or 2 leaf cuttings. Actually, this was a 4 leaf cutting. So since May, it's grown 1 additional leaf, but it is fully rooted. And then another thing that when I was talking about the creasing, sometimes damage happens in the transport of the Hoyas. And of course, being a Hoya, they don't always like that. So when you do get blemishes on the leaves of this Hoya, they're gonna be there for the life of the leaf. The new leaves, healthy as could be, but these kind of just don't do well. So that was kind of it. The only thing I don't like about this Hoya is that it's a slow grower and it's kind of a pain to root compared to some of the other Hoyas. But all in all, I'd wait for it because once you get these kind of leaves, I mean, they're stunning. And this Hoya has been around for a while, but it's not as common as you would think. So it's definitely a collector's Hoya because it is worth growing for sure. So thanks for joining me. I love so many things about this Hoya. I just wish it grew faster and was easier to root. And I cannot wait to see what the blooms smell like, because if they really do smell dank and musty, could be interesting. But if it smells like lemon or orange, I'm going to really dig that. All right, so thanks for joining me.